What's up, guys? Ashen Iron has dropped, and we're about a full week into the update. And even though there has been some issues, I want to still put a build video out because this build instantly came to my mind when I saw that the new rocket assisted pulse exotic was Strand. And when I logged in and looked at the artifact, they actually added a couple mods that just made Strand Warlock insane. So let's start with what you can see on your screen right now. We're going to be rocking Swarmers. Yes, just like in Season of Heresy, the last season, uh, Swarmers is going to be back on the table, and you're going to see the reason why here in a little bit. Before we get to the juicy parts of the artifact, let's take a look at our mods. Our stats. So I run as much super as you can get because I want the highest super damage. You want as little grenade cooldown as you can get. So that means 100, at least 70 up to 100. Don't go over because you don't need the extra damage. And I'm running 70 melee because I like to throw my melees out. But you should actually spec into your class ability. Again, 70 to 100 because you want to be spamming your class ability as often as you can. So let's take a look at our new rocket assisted pulse. This says suspending blast, detonating a large number of rounds embedded in a single target, suspends them. So that big health bar boss or like major, you can throw 2 bursts into them and then explode them, and it'll suspend them. 2 bursts have to be on one target in order for this to happen. At least a target that can handle the damage. And that's important. Now you may be asking, why is that important? It's because of the artifact. So let's get to the artifact and then we'll get to our subclass. So if you remember when Edge of Fate launched, we had Threaded Blast, which is destroying a tangle with strand damage, increases the radius of the explosion and its damage. And we had Tangled Web, creating a tangle by defeating a strand debuff target suspends nearby combatants. These two were the only kind of strand based artifact mods that we could use. There is this one here, tightly woven, but that just gives you increased grenade stats when you have woven mail. I found it hard to use those two artifact mods, even though they work very well together. It was hard for me to get my mind around how I was gonna create tangles and how I was gonna run a strand weapon to actually take part of them. So I just stuck with the stasis build for my Warlock that you have seen, and the Starfire Protocol build because those two builds were very good. Solar and stasis were very heavily featured in the rest of this artifact. Well, in Ash of Iron, they added these 2 bottom rows, and it just sent Strand Warlock to the top. So first, Threaded Proliferation. Dealing strand weapon damage has a chance to spawn a Threadling. Defeating a strand debuff target increases its chance. So, strand debuff targets are going to create Threadlings when you hit them with strand weapon damage. Well, when you defeat something that's suspended, when you create a tangle, it's going to suspend nearby enemies, and that is a strand debuff. So you can debuff, you can create a tangle, suspend, debuff. When you kill those things, you'll get a Threadling, and if you shoot the tangle with your primary, which is our Strand rocket assisted pulse, it'll create a bigger explosion. So you're already getting synergy. Then it says Pack Tactics. Dealing damage with Threadlings increases Threadling damage. At maximum stacks, Threadling stun unstoppable champions. So you're going to want to spam Threadlings. You want to have as many Threadlings doing as much damage as possible, and then they will stun unstoppable champions. So Swarmers is going to help you get a shit ton of Threadlings. Then we have a couple things in our subclass that are going to help us get more Threadlings also. And then Energy Acceleration. Sustained damage with micro missiles causes combatants to emit a kinetic shockwave that damages nearby combatants. This is just nice. It's a little cherry on top for when you're fighting those chunkier enemies and you're putting that 2 bursts in to suspend them. You're gonna get a little kinetic shockwave if there's enemies around them, and it's like kinetic tremors. It's gonna do a little extra damage. It's gonna just that little cherry on top to help you out. And lastly, elemental coalescence. Defeating targets has a chance to create an elemental pickup matching your equipped super element. So tangle generation. This build is all about tangle generation, suspending targets, defeating strand debuff targets to make your threadlings and to make threadlings do more damage. Now, let's look at our subclass. Our subclass is going to start with our super, Needlestorm. Now you're going to run Needlestorm because that's the only super you can run, but that's why you have a high super stat so that it does more damage. And right here, you're going to run Threadling Grenade. Obvious reason. First aspect you're going to run is Mind Spun Invocation. This is so that you can eat and charge your grenade to create perched threadlings. That way you get more threadlings than just the 3 you would get from throwing your nade. You're going to want to have a lot of threadlings in this build, and you're going to, because they're going to get buffed from all the artifact mods, and they're going to help you create tangles and so forth as you are going to be creating them yourselves. And then Weaver's Call. This is going to let you throw out 3 threadlings when you cast your class ability and any threadlings you have perched. So it could be a total of 8. Total of 8 threadlings possible. And then it says dealing damage and defeating targets generates perched threadlings. So not only are you, as you're letting your threadlings go all over you and kill everything around you, when you're using your weapon, you also are going to be creating more threadlings in your pocket that will then go and defeat things for you as you keep shooting at things. So those are the 2 aspects you want to use. Fragments, Thread of Evolution, buffs our threadling damage. Thread of Generation, so that when we deal damage, we get our threadlings back faster because it's our threadling nade, so we'll be able to eat our nade more. And then I run Thread of Isolation. Landing rapid precision hits emits a severing burst from the target. Something I forgot to mention is I'm still using Fever and Chill and Shield Crush from the artifact. So Fever and Chill, when you use a solar weapon and get precision hits, it makes you radiant. Shield Crush says when you're radiant, you gain increased grenade regeneration, which is our threadling nade, which I want to eat more often so that I have more threadlings to throw. I'm using a solar secondary so that I can not only activate Fever and Chill and get radiant and Shield Crush, but I also will apply severing to everything around the enemy I defeat, meaning that they're debuffed, meaning it triggers all the other artifact mods that I have equipped. Then lastly, Strand Weapon Final Blows have a chance to create a threadling. This is so that when we're using our Rocket Assisted Pulse on anything, there's a chance to create a threadling, which will then create more threadlings and it's just swarm everywhere. And that's the build. This entire build works beautifully. It's so nice. And like I said, if you build into your class stat like you should, you're going to be spamming your Healing Rift, which will then spawn more threadlings, and it'll just cascade. Let's take a look at our mods real quick. I have nothing, and I don't know why. Here are the mods that I'm using. It's basic, grenade, orbs, solar orbs, because I'm using a solar secondary, and then a class font, so that, because my class is pretty low, so that when I can pick up orb power, I just get a little boost to that. But yeah, this build is awesome. Try it out for yourself. If you like the video or you like the build, go ahead, drop a sub for me. And if you want to catch me live, go into the description, hit that Twitch link, and drop a follow over there, because we're streaming Destiny and other games all week long. Hope to see you over there, and I'll catch you in the next video.